What's up, guys? Hoarder here, and welcome back to episode 2 of my 18643 metal detecting review series. That's a mouthful. $186.43 is how much I dug in modern change alone last year. Modern pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters that you could roll up and take to the bank. And if I can find that much in old colonial farm fields and 200-year-old houses, imagine what you're going to find at your local park or school or churches. You're going to quadruple that number. So I'm scouring the internet for every machine I can find priced under 200 bucks. Some are going to be winners and some are going to be duds. And on the chopping block this week is the Striker Z60. So let's open it up and see what this puppy can do. All right, so the Striker Z60. This came from my good friends at Calico. We're going to open it up. I have not seen it yet. It did get good reviews. Granted, the good reviews were from Calico. All right. Oh, look at the color on this thing. All right, here's the instruction manual. Well, I say instruction manual. It's one page. That's it. That's it. Doesn't even open. So it must be really easy to use. Here's the coil, and wow, I do like the color. Holy cow, look at the color. That's sharp. Looks like a spider, that coil. Wow, definitely noticeable. Looks like it might even glow in the dark. Let's see, arm cuff. Control box is already mounted on the arm cuff. Shaft. Looks like no headphones with this unit. Just bare bones detector coil. It's a 10-inch coil, I'm guessing. So, all right, let's put it together. All right, so here's the Z60 unassembled. It's a really easy assembly. The control box will plug into this middle shaft here. Inside there are little metal fingers. And when you loosen it up, the fingers expand. When you put this rod in and then tighten it, the fingers will close again. What you have to be careful of is when you just shove it in there, if you hit one of the fingers and bend it, well, now it's going to be blocking. So there's a little groove on here. There's a little notch. Just try to find the right spot, gently wiggle it in, then you're good. You want to put the lower rod onto your coil before you connect it to your machine. It's a lot easier that way. If not, you have the whole weight of the machine on this end and you're trying to get the coil in there, very difficult. So you get your coil, the lower rod, you see you have a solid piece and you have a little groove piece. Groove piece goes down, that way it doesn't affect the coil wire. And you're just going to slide it in between here and try to line it up with the holes. It's lined up. Then you'll get your little nut. You'll see on this side of the coil is smooth. On this side of the coil ear has those grooves. Those grooves will line up with these grooves so that once it's in there, it's really tight. We'll line it up. You see right there, it's already locked because it goes in those grooves. Then I'll put the other nut on. Just like that, perfect. Once you have the lower shaft and the upper shaft, then you do the same thing. Loosen this up, find the groove, slide it in. Don't forget, watch those teeth. You don't want to bend it. And then we'll wrap the coil wire around. Once it's assembled, you want to get the coil wire and wrap it all the way around the shaft. But another little trick, when you put the coil wire and start wrapping it, you want to have the coil in this 90-degree position, like you were going to swing it. That way when you wrap it, when you're done for the day, you can actually turn your coil and lay it downward because you'll have a little bit of space. If you wrap the coil wire like this and you go real tight, well, now you can't open it up to swing because the coil's too taut. So if I loosen it up, you'll see the coil wire will pull forward. So always wrap your coil wire when the coil is in the 90-degree position. Go all the way around until you get to the very top up to the control box. Once you have your coil wire wrapped all the way around, the bottom there's a little 6-pin combination. There's a notch on one side and an arrow here. You'll line that up, snap it right in. 6 AAA batteries you're going to need. Battery cover, put it down, and you're good to go. So let's fire it up and see what it can do. All right, batteries are in. Let's fire up the Striker Z60. Here's your power button right here. And you can hear it's pretty loud. In fact, it was so loud I had to use these little earbuds that I bought from the Five Below store, and they worked great. So it does not come with earphones, so make sure you get some sort of earbuds or something so you don't drive people crazy. But you can see when you turn it on, I have 8 different notch modes or preset notch programs. You have iron, foil, nickel, pull tab, S-cap, zinc, dime, and quarter. And you can notch certain ones out. They call it discrimination, which is not really true. It's a notch. But let's go over the different settings that you can change. You see down here, you have a sensitivity, you have a depth, and you have a volume. You can change the sensitivity and the volume. What you do is you hit the set button, which is a menu, and you'll see sensitivity is blinking. I hit the PP button that enables sensitivity. Now the number's blinking, and I can arrow it down, or I can raise it up. 8 is the max sensitivity. Once I'm done, I hit the PP to accept that, and you see now nothing's blinking, so I'm in search mode. I can start swinging. If I want to change the volume, I hit set, which brings me into the blinking cursor. That means, hey, what do you want to do? I arrow over until I get to volume, hit the PP button. Now the number's blinking. I can lower the volume, I think down to 0, or back up. I'm going to leave it at max volume 4. The only other thing I can change is if I hit set, I get my blinking cursor, I can arrow down to discrimination down here, which is flashing. I hit PP, and now it engages my 3 different, they call it discrimination modes, which is not a true name. It's actually a notch mode. Right now I'm in all metal. You see everything is highlighted. I can arrow over, change it to jewelry mode, foil, nickel, pull tab, diamond, quarter. Everyone likes wearing that foil jewelry. And then you arrow over again, coin mode, nickel, zinc pennies, dimes, quarters, and then arrow over back to all metal again. So the one thing I thought about it was, I wish it was a true discrimination mode, and you could actually, remember, don't forget, discrimination starts at 0, works its way up. It doesn't bounce around different segments. Those are notches. So I wish you could actually have a true discrimination, because, you know, what if I didn't want to dig nickels? If I go into all my different modes, nickels is highlighted in jewelry, it's highlighted in coins, it's highlighted in all metal. I can never get rid of nickels. You're always going to hear nickels. I mean, hopefully you always hear nickels. But hypothetically, if I was looking for, you know, property markers or something like that, and I wanted to discriminate out all the high tones, can't do it. Always going to hear nickels, always going to hear dimes and quarters, regardless of your mode. So, you know, I'm just nitpicking. In the middle, there is no target ID number, so you're only going to tell by the notches that light up. In the middle will be your depth. Whatever you swing over, whatever you hear, the target will correspond by highlighting one of the notches, and in the middle will give you your depth. Not bad. I kind of liked it. You know, don't forget, these are beginner machines. And then down here, you have this button that says GG. It stands for ground grab, which kind of makes me think of dirt molester, but it's just a ground bounce button. You push your ground bounce button, you pump your coil up and down, and I'll show it. It just sets your detector to the ground mineralization level. That way you start with a neutral buoyancy, we'll call it. That's a nice feature on a detector, especially a beginner one, so pretty good. So let's line some coins up and see how deep it can go, and check out some of the sounds. All right, the machine's set up all metal mode, full sensitivity. Volume I lowered to 1 because it's just so darn loud. All right, we're going to do a little line dancing. I know no one likes an air test, but if I bury everything in the ground, you're not going to be able to see what the heck I'm doing. So I got a few coins here. I got a $50, a nickel, an old dime, a penny, and we're going to see what kind of depth this machine gets. I'm going to start off with this beautiful buffalo nickel, and let's see how it does. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Starting to lose it, but I'm at 8. Once in a while 9, but I'm going to say consistent. Consistent at 8 inches. It's pretty impressive. Let's try this silver dime. Those are really highly conductive. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once in a while at 8. To be safe, let's say 7.5, but that's really impressive on a beginner machine. Let's try a bigger one. Let's try the silver quarter. This is one of my favorite ones too. Standing Liberty. Oh baby. All right, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Consistent. 8.5 consistent. 9 consistent. I'm going to say 9 inches consistent on the Standing Liberty quarter. Let's try the big one. The big Walking Liberty $50. Good luck. 2, 3 like butter. 4, 5 like it's in the sandbox. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Consistent at 10. That's probably 10 and a half. I ran out of numbers. Probably 10 and a half, maybe a little over a smidgen over 10 and a half. Come on, that's impressive for a beginner machine. Way to go, Striker. Wow. Cool. All right, I know most people don't have trust in air test, and I'm not a huge fan of air tests either. I'm only showing it because it's a beginner machine and beginners are watching. If I had put coins in the ground already and swung over them and said, hey guys, believe me, this is 10 inches down, and believe me, it's only a quarter. Well, do you really believe me? I could have buried a Coke can, and I could have buried it 2 inches deep. So it's nice for a beginner to be able to actually see the test, and usually a detector will get even better depth because it likes dirt. It doesn't like open air. So 9.5 inches on a $50, amazing air test for a beginner machine. But now I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it well beyond what it should be able to do, and we're going to try some target separation. Oh man, good luck, Striker. All right, here's my experiment. I'm going to turn on the Striker. First thing I'm going to do is a ground grab, or I like to call it a dirt molestation. You push the ground grab button and you pump the coil. Okay, in the middle means it was good. Now if I swing right here in this spot, you're going to hear there's no signals. Nothing there. I don't want you guys to think I'm cheating you or anything. All right, so now, there's a signal over to the left, but that's okay. Now I'm going to put this rusty iron screw right in that spot. Let's let it up. All right, so now we've got a rusty iron screw right there. Let's see if the Striker can hear it. It should hear it. It should be a low tone all the way down the left side of the spectrum. Yes, it does hear it. 2 inches. I'm raising the coil up. 8, 9 inches it hears it. All right, but hey, it's an iron screw. Big deal. Now we're going to do the experiment. I'm going to put this Walking Liberty $50 from 1940, not that it matters, under the iron screw and see if it can separate between the two targets. That's a pretty advanced feature. Let's see if it works. All right, so there it is. Under the iron screw is a Walking Liberty $50. Let's see if it can hear that coin under the screw and what kind of signal I get if it goes somewhere in the middle, because if it gets confused. Here we go. Good luck. You know what? A little bit of confusion, but that is a high tone all day long. I would dig that. Let's raise the coil up. Wow, it actually gets stronger as I raise the coil up. I'm now 6, 7 inches above it. 8 inches. 8, 9 inches above it, it actually comes in better. And as I lower the coil, that's when the confusion starts to come in. I would dig it either way. That is some impressive separation there from a beginner machine. Now that's a big coin. Let's try something a little smaller. I still have the Standing Liberty quarter in my pocket. Let's see if I get the same results with that. All right, same experiment. Iron screw. This time a slightly smaller coin, a silver Standing Liberty quarter underneath of it. It did really well with the $50. Let's see how it does with the quarter. Not as good. Not as good. But I will give it credit. The screw alone, if you remember, was all the way at the leftmost quadrant, way down there where it should be. And this is coming up in the nickel range. So it does know something's going on. It knows it's, it's trying to tell me something, just doesn't have the processing power to hear that quarter. How about up high? Higher than the nickel signal, but not quite a high tone. But hey, still pretty good for a beginner machine. It's trying. It nailed the $50. I would call the quarter not quite as accurate. So there it is, guys, from nuts to bolts, the Striker Z60. What did I like about it? Well, in the beginner detector category, this thing was a depth monster. You saw it hitting a $50 at 10 inches under a big rusty screw. Come on, that's insanity. Way to go. I was super blown away by the depth. That was amazing. But what didn't I like about it? Well, there's a couple things. I didn't like that you had such a lack of settings. I couldn't even turn the brightness down on the backlit screen. So it does eat through the batteries quick, and you got to put 6 of them in there. And the other thing I didn't like was there was no instructions in the box for beginners to figure out how the thing works. You got to download an app on your phone, scan the code, go out to a website, try to find the instructions, and then download them and read them on your itsy bitsy teeny little screen. Come on, the instructions were 4 pages long. Print them out, stick them in the box, give these newbies a chance. Now, the Striker Z60 retails for $199, which is slightly over the $186.43 mark that I was trying to base all these beginner detectors on. But because it's slightly over, Kelly Co. is nice enough where they're going to give me a special code that I can share with you if you email me, quarterhoarder@yahoo.com, and they will sell you this machine for under the $186.43 price point. That way, within 1 year, you can go out and make up the money with all the coins you find and then shuffle yourself off to the bank and cash them all in. You're going to be rich, or at least have 186 bucks, whatever comes first. So a big thank you to Kelly Co. and of course to Striker. There'll be a link in the description if you want to pick one up for yourself. And of course next week there'll be a new beginner machine on the chopping block. Can it out-depth the Striker? Oh man, I don't know. It's going to be tough, but we're going to find out together. That's the beauty of this thing. So many machines, such a plethora of settings. Man, it's going to be fun going through them all. So I hope you guys tune in. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody. Happy hunting. I'll see you in the next one. Later.